Hey guys, this is Nate here again. Just hit the 1600k mark or just over on my Inokim OX scooter, and I thought I might just do another quick review just to update you guys about a few different things. If you're looking at buying one of these scooters or you're looking to get into a scooter, then I urge you obviously to watch my first couple of reviews in regards to Inokim OX. This is not going to cover all those, it's just going to go back over some of the extra faults and bits and pieces that I found along the way, tips and tricks. And stuff like that. So if you're interested, keep watching and we'll run through a few bits. Cool. Alright, so this is my Inokim OX. Now I have made a couple of modifications there. At the back there you'll see the tail light arrangement, which you can see in a different YouTube video. But essentially if I go up nice and close, I do a lot of travelling at night time, and so this little back reflector and this light here was just not adequate enough. This light's actually almost, it's useless at night time. So I put one of these things on. It's nice and simple. Just screwed it on there through the reflector into the mounting bracket, and my other light just clips on in place. Turns on like that, nice and easy. So that's the only real major modification that I've done to the scooter so far. Now I had wanted to get the replacement part. For here, there used to be a little clip here which used to lock the handle folding mechanism. And unfortunately my dealer's been trying to chase down another one. We got part, but there's actually two parts to it. They've redevised this because the little plastic latch was like a hard plastic. They used to wrap around and clip onto here and just hold that in the locked position, so your handlebars didn't break down when you're riding around with the vibrations and whatnot. Unfortunately, it seems to have been a mission to try and get another one of these, so I'm just waiting on the new one, which is a revised strap. It's like a big rubberized strap that goes around and hooks on here again, but I've just got to be a little bit patient. I've been waiting probably about 6 to 8 weeks now, which some might say is a fair bit of time. Probably about 6 weeks to be fair. But yeah, just trying to track one of those down to make my life easier. At the moment, I'm using my CrossFit strap here, and I've just pulled it down so you guys can see what I was talking about for the video. In any case, no big deal, not a big deal breaker or anything like that, but obviously would like something that's going to be a little bit more aesthetically pleasing for the future. Apart from that, if we're moving on, I suppose let's just take a look at see how the scooter has fared maintenance wise, I suppose, in the last 1600 kilometers, and I'll show you now just to power him on. I use this as a daily commuter to and from work. For those who haven't seen my other videos, there's my last commute from yesterday. Oh, there you go. So 1621 kilometers I've done on this scooter so far, and I bought this on the 17th of November 2018, so not that long ago. So I cover quite a few Ks every day. As you can see, there's no nicks, bumps or scratches in my scooter. That's because I drive fast, so I ride around fast, but not like an idiot. And as such, I haven't fallen off, and I would like to keep it that way, because falling off the speed on one of these things would definitely hurt. I've ridden it in the rain. It's not something that I do routinely, because I try not to get wet myself, but in any case, I have ridden it through the rain and there's no issues whatsoever. The deck is all sealed. That said, I wouldn't go riding through puddles or anything like that, but that's purely because again, I wouldn't want to put it at undue risk. There's no reason to do any stupid sort of stuff like that. So, but if you get rain on, you're riding through the rain, there's water on the road, you're not going to have any issues whatsoever. As you can see, the tyres, the front tyre has still got loads of tread on it. I'll get in nice and close. It's got loads of tread, as you can see. You can even see some of the factory red markings there on the tyre, and that's after 1600k. So it has fared quite well. Also, in one of my other videos, the first review video, this little funny, cool little cap thing, that hubcap cap, had actually fallen off the rear one, as you can see there. Fallen off the rear, and somebody made mention that, obviously with a $2,500 scooter, bits and pieces shouldn't be falling off. To be fair, that's the only thing, and one other dust cap which fell off. The back there, so they're back there where that big nut is, that's the other dust cap that's fallen off. The front one is still on there, which is good. Again, it fell off not long after I had adjusted the suspension, so I took those caps both off and undid those nuts and adjusted my scooter to the high position, because it gives you a much more comfortable ride. And so I preferred that because I've got to go up a few bumps and hilly bits and whatnot, so I like a bit of a smoother ride. So look, in all honesty, perhaps I haven't lost any more bits and pieces. Nothing else is snapped off, broken off, fallen off or anything like that. No dust caps or the like. So potentially it could have been a user error, and maybe I just didn't put it back in because it just sort of like, you just pull it out and then push it back in. So maybe I just didn't push the other one back in, and that's the reason why it has fallen off. I'm not too sure, but again, so far so good. The rest have stayed on, which is fantastic. Brakes, it still brakes nice and hard. The front drum brake, I haven't actually pulled that apart yet. I'll probably do that at 2000k mark, and I'll post a video of that and show you how that's done. It doesn't look too difficult, just to make sure that the braking mechanism is working well. The only thing I've had to do is dial out some of these, and that's your adjustment points for your brakes. As the braking lever like the stretch and you wear down, you obviously it gets closer and closer back here, so you just pull those ones out and then adjust your braking up. Gives you nice tight firm braking. What else? Deck wise, everything is still in really good condition and no issues there whatsoever. The rear tyre, I've got a lot less tread on it. Can you see that in the back there? Yeah, so the rear tyre, I probably need another new tyre. I think the rear tyre cops a lot more of a hiding for a couple of obvious reasons. When you're braking and whatnot, puts a lot of strain on the brake. I preferentially back brake more than I do front brake. I don't know if you're the same. Also because it's got the disc brake on the back too, so it gives you really quite sure feeling to the braking, so it's probably part of the reason why. I don't skid, I never try to skid, so it's not down to that. But it also could be when you go over bumps. When you're racing along and you go over bumps or downhill and you're braking, there is a chance that, you know, although it's suspension, it doesn't have a high rebound rate, if that makes sense. So it's not going to compress up and then bounce straight back down like super fast, if that makes sense. So if it bounces up while you're braking, there's a chance that wheel comes slightly off the ground. You brake, it's only a small wheel, it's got strong braking, it's likely to lock up, and then when you touch back down to the ground, it's just going to shave a little bit extra off that tyre rather than it continually rolling, if that makes sense. I have heard also a couple of people had issues with the rear mudguard there. As you can see, mine is still in perfectly good condition. Some people have said that they take theirs off. I don't see the point in that. Often if you do a ride and you ride somewhere, it's a perfectly nice day, but then the day turns to shit and it starts raining. If you haven't got that there, you're going to end up with your ass all covered in water, so you might as well just leave it on there. The suggestion I made in one of a previous video is just this joint here. I don't know if you can see in there, there's a couple little screws in there, see those? Yep. Just undo those apart, put some araldite in there or some similar two-part epoxy glue, glue that together, and then it'll be nice and tight, okay? Because they are prone to getting loose in here. Otherwise, yeah, brakes are all still good. There's still loads of meat on those pads, if you can see in there. I know, forgive the dirt. I went for a ride last night and it did rain on my way home, so it is what it is. The only other mod I would potentially do, and that's just because for a bit of fun, is you can get these TRP. They're called TRP HYRD brakes. It's like a cable brake, but is also hydraulic actuated. So the cable goes to the cable. You still use the same cable, which means your brake lights and the motor cutout's still going to work. So it's all hooked in up near your brake lever. That's still going to work, but it just gives you that option of having a hydraulic brake caliper at the back, so it combines the two, so you get the best of both worlds essentially. Otherwise, one other bit and pieces I wanted to tell you about is that essentially this thing has a speed limiter on it as well. I didn't know that until recently. When you go over 50 kilometers an hour and you think, oh, I'll never go 50 kilometers an hour, but these things will do 46, 47 k's on the flat an hour quite routinely, so there's not a drama. And if you're going down a hill and you get over that 50 kilometer mark, it's got an inbuilt safety, which means that the brakes automatically come on. Okay, and that's not the manual braking like these ones here. It redirects the power to the motor backwards. So obviously the effect on that is that it kind of rapidly slows you down. It's a bit clunky. I've had it kick in on me once or twice. If you're not ready for it, it can be a bit of a shock to the system, and you're like, whoa, did something just get caught under my back wheel? If that's the case, it's probably not that. It's probably the electronic braking has kicked in to save you getting a runaway scooter, essentially. Also, again, if you're looking at buying one of these things are chalk and cheese with any of those higher model ones. It's a lot faster, a lot more stable. I think that comes down to its suspension and the fact that it's sheer weight. What else did I want to say? Oh yeah, before I go, apparently the word on the street is Inokim OX is making a new version of these. This is obviously the 2018, because I bought it at the end of 2018. I think they did a 2019 version, which comes out with 2 motors. This one's got an 800 watt motor in the back, but it's a 2-stage motor, so it's 800 watts, and it'll go up to 1300 watts when you're climbing a steep hill. And believe me, it is super adequate to get up any hill. So I live in Indooroopilly, and there's some super steep hills there, and it gets up all those, no worries at all. The new one's going to have two 1000 watt motors, very similar to the the dual paired or something like that. There's a couple of different ones out there with 2 motors, and look, I think at the end of the day, it's fantastic as it would be to have 2 motors. I don't see the point. If you're going any faster than 45 k's an hour, you're going to get yourself seriously hurt. If you fall off, you're going to get yourself seriously hurt. So that was my wife just giving me the drum. I need to wrap this up. But yeah, just be safe. When you're on these things, make sure you're wearing a helmet and ride sensibly. These things do go quickly, and by all means ride fast, but do it in a manner that's safe. Too many people, especially on these Lime scooters in around Brisbane, are riding like absolute crazies on these things. They're not wearing helmets, and they're just downright dangerous, cutting and weaving and just doing inappropriate speeds. There's my rant: always wear a helmet. I work in healthcare, so plenty of people come and fall off these sorts of things and get major head injuries. So helmet it up, have fun, and if you've got any questions, post them below and I'll answer them as best I can. But yeah, oh, that reminds me, while I'm looking at my head stem, in here there's these little rubber shims, okay, and they do wear out. That's probably the most, I wouldn't say the most annoying, that's probably a little bit of an overkill, but let's crack this here for a sec. Alright, so bring it down here. Rightio. So, see all this crap in here? It's actually just paper. I put that in there. There's a little rubber shim there. There's a little rubber shim there. You get a spare set of rubber shims, okay? But essentially, because it's aluminium on aluminium sort of rubs and it gives you a bit of a squeaky noise, which I find annoying, and I don't want to ride around with a squeak. So you put these shims in there, but they get squashed by the sheer pressure between this. And as you can see, it's a beefy head. It's all solid aluminium in here and in here. This whole thing is nice and rugged, and it really gives you a sense of confidence when you stand on you put your rear foot right on the back mudguard there, and you reef on this handlebars. If you're going down a bump, you can pull up the front end quite nicely, and with a decent application of the throttle, it'll actually, like if you're going down a bump, instead of going down like this, it'll level you out and you drop down quite nicely. So it's nice and strong with this, but you do need to replace the shims in there. I just use a bit of paper, cut out some cardboard, and replace the shims every 4 weeks or so, 5 weeks or something like that. But if somebody's smart out there, they can. I heard some people doing some 3D computer printing. You could do a really ultra fine hard plastic shim, and that would be the duck's nuts. I would buy them $5 a piece for they last like 6 months. So somebody who's smarter than me, get out there, design them a little plastic shim, save my life, because otherwise I hate the squeak. Otherwise, that's my major bugbear. So again, to cap it all off, this thing's a beast. There's no hill that this thing cannot tackle, especially on a full charge. It has got stupid acceleration, especially once you hit that power band. The first bit is nice and smooth, like my 8-year-old son can ride it. But when you get over about 20 k's an hour, it is just giving you a kick in the ass, and it just takes off. It's like lightning. So much fun. Enjoy riding into work. I urge you, these things are the way of the future. If you're going to get one, get a quality one. There's a lot of cheaper ones out there, but this thing so far has stood the test of time. I'll do another review at 2,000 or 2,500, or probably 2,500 k's or 3,000 k's or something along those lines, but I don't anticipate any problems at this stage. So anyway, all the best for now. I'll post this online, and yeah, peace out.